Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to share with you how this crappy Airbnb property makes me over £30,000 a year just from one platform. If you want to learn how that is done or the process it takes me to do that, stay tuned to watch this video. But before you get going, I really would ask you to do me a favor. We've done a research. We've realized 70% of the people that are watching this channel have not been hitting the subscribe button. So I really would ask you to kindly pause the video right now, or whilst you're watching this video, hit that subscribe button. We're looking to drive the channel, make the channel a bigger channel so that more people can watch, and also we can invite guests that are experienced in the real estate world, in the business world, in all business adventures, to kind of help us take our property or businesses into the next level. So if you're really interested in property investment, you want to be financially free, or maybe you're interested in personal development, this channel is for you. Smash that subscribe button now. Let's grow that channel. Hitting the like button also helps YouTube push the videos there to lots and lots more people that have the similar interest as you do. So please hit that like button and subscribe button in order to help me grow this family. So thank you for your support, for your kind comment and everything. So let's drive this channel to one of the biggest channels in the UK. So thank you, I really appreciate it. So I'm going to share with you how this crappy Airbnb makes me over £30,000, and hopefully this would inspire you to take the next level to make money work for you instead of working for it. It is June 2020. The country is in mayhem. We are struggling. The whole world is struggling. The country is in lockdown. Nobody's allowed to move. Nobody's allowed to visit families. Nobody's allowed to do anything. It was a terrible place. It is one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my entire life. It is one of the worst things my family experienced, and lots of families around the world experienced. It was a tough time. But I had to do what I was supposed to do, to stay looking at properties, because I love properties. Properties are things that keep me going, motivated. And actually during COVID, I was working from home. I was trying to get my investment things going. So shortly after the first lockdown, we saw a property in South Wales. This is a very small corner house property. It looked deceptive. It was a 2-bedroom house. I went to view the property, and it's very in the corner. It looks scruffy outside. You got, one of those old houses where you can see the bricks or the stone. It's like a stonework property, right? So it's really designed very small. It's a corner one. It's in a hill, wonky. Moved in. We saw that property, viewed it. 2-bedroom upstairs, and there is a bathroom there, and you've got the massive sitting room downstairs, and the kitchen was kind of in a separate on the backyard. But as you enter the property, you've got this little receptions that you get into, and you've got the door on your right, and obviously you've got the stairs going up through the property. So it's a 1K property, very old and dilapidated, maybe been vacant for about 10 years or so. So view the property alone, obviously because of the restrictions, and I was there, so people doing in turns, and everybody's viewing the property. So I viewed this property. I was lucky enough to put an offer, and with that offer I was able to get the property. So I bought the property significantly below market value, because obviously everybody was worried about COVID. There's a lockdown and no one is allowed to go anywhere. So I was able to get that property at discount. I think I bought the property for about £60,000 or £80,000. I can't remember correctly. I think it's £60,000. Bought the property, and then I looked at it. I realized I may be able to convert this property into a 4-bedroom house. I looked at it, I realized I can move the bathroom to the smaller room that's not been used, nick a bit of space from the bigger room to create a bathroom. So that then gives me 3 bedrooms upstairs, and then this sitting room was also massive. It's that rectangular type sitting room. I walk a wall in the middle, and I get myself another bedroom. So that then takes me from a 2-bedroom house to a 4-bedroom house. Looking outside, you would never believe you'll be able to do it in that sort of property. So I looked at the property that way, but in my head, I'm thinking about maybe after COVID, I may be able to rent it as a HMO property. So what I did at that point, I renovated the property as if I'm going to be renting it as a HMO property. So at that point, The renovation works carry on. Obviously, during the COVID, it was restricted the number of people that needs to do the work and all that sort of thing. So I used to drop my builders as well because some of them don't drive. So literally, I risk it, to get my financial situation into my own hands. So I risked it, but again, picking the builders up, and then obviously having my mask, getting them to do their test before they jump in the car. So I was able to kind of work with them. We get the property done. It was a bit slow, but we're able to convert the property, do it nicely as if we're renting it as a HMO. But at that point, we cannot rent it as a HMO because of the restrictions, right? We've got these meters you need to stay apart from each other and all that sort of thing. So it wasn't gonna work as a HMO. As again, if you're a property investor, you're going to be thinking about the future, because winter always follows summer and summer always follows spring. So it's not always going to be winter, okay? Weather would change. So I knew COVID would one day go away, okay? So I had that in mind. So at that point, what I did, I rented it as a family house. I rented it as a buy-to-let property. Rent it to a family. So what I'd like us to do now is to walk you through the figures from a buy-to-let property and what I did to that property, all for it to generate me over £30,000 a year. Let's get to the computer. Okay, so what I did at that point, because I could not rent it as a serviced, as a HMO property, what I did, I rented it as a buy-to-let property. So when I got it as a buy-to-let property, I vetted the tenant, obviously. I made sure they are the right tenant for the property, because I don't want to have the property vacant and wait until COVID finishes. I rented it on that basis. So at that time, when I rented the property, my rent that I was getting was £750. So the tenant was paying me £750 instead of £800 or £900 at that time, because obviously COVID, okay? So my interest rate, and again, interest rate wasn't crazy as it is now, and I was on about £63 per calendar month on my interest rate. And then you've got my fees to pay. This is my management fees, the fees I pay for the estate agencies to manage my property, which happens to be mine as well, right? So that was £75. And then obviously I have insurance. In order for you to protect your investment, you need to insure it, and it is mandatory in the UK for you to insure your property anyways. So at that point, I was paying £35 per calendar month because I rented the property as a family let. As I was renting the property as a family let, I'm not the one who paid the bills. So obviously the tenant pays the bills at that point. So looking at the property at that point, the property was generating me £377 a month passively. Okay, that's what I was making as a family let. But let me take you back. When I've done that property, converted it from a 2-bedroom to a 4-bedroom house, I bought the property for £60,000. I spent about £30,000, I think, to do the property up. So once I've done it, I renovated the property, forced the value up. Guess what? The property was revalued at £150,000. So at that point, that wonky house I renovated, I was able to pull all my initial investment out, everything out, so I can go again and buy more houses. That's one of the beauty of that property. This is the reason why I'm saying, when everybody's fearful, that's the time you become greedy to grow your property investment portfolio. So when everybody was locking themselves inside the houses, worried about not being ill, I was risking. I was going out there looking for viewings. When the police stopped me, I've got my business card. I tell them I cannot work from home. I'm a property investor. I need to view properties in order to make money. So when everybody stagnated, not doing nothing, I was out there looking for deals, buying properties and all that sort of thing. So I was lucky enough to be able to buy this property. I bought a few properties, which I don't want to bore you about anyways, but this is one of the ones I wanted to share with you. So I was able to buy this property, recycle all my money out, and then I rented it as a buy-to-let property. It was making me okay money, all right? It was making me about £377 a month. If you multiply that by 12 months, it was making me about £4,530. So it's still a good return on investment because I was making profit, and obviously I had already recycled all my money out. When COVID eased, then obviously I look at another strategy. So now what I did when this tenant moved in, I gave them a 6-month tenancy agreement because I am anticipating that COVID lockdown and all this nightmare would end, right? So obviously it did not end as I've anticipated. So after the six months, right, the there was still restrictions. So what I did then basically is to inform the tenant that to do the contract as a monthly rolling contract. So it went to automatic monthly rolling contract. So at that point, I can give the tenant notice to move out for like a month or 2 months in order for me to do whatever I want to do in that property. So fast forward to that, COVID restriction eased up. So what I did, I gave the tenant notice, and then I changed the model to a model that I call HMO. HMO is house in multiple occupations. Instead of renting the property as a family let, I rented the property on a room by room basis, right? So I had 4 bedrooms. I rent each bedroom individually instead of renting it as a whole. So with that strategy, I was renting each bedroom for £450. £450, if you multiply that by 4 bedrooms, at that point the property generates me a gross rental income of £1,800. Obviously my interest was exactly the same, so my interest was £263. I have my fees. My management fees goes up because that would be the 10% of my gross rental income. So that went up by 450. Obviously, I've got my insurance to pay and I've got my utilities now to pay. Because I'm renting the property room by room and it is a HMO, I was responsible to pay the bills. So the bills was about £450 per calendar month. So I pay the council tax, I pay the electricity, I pay the gas, and I pay the broadband. These are my expenses in the properties, okay? So I was paying that and the tenant wasn't paying for any of that, okay? So taking all my expenses out, at that point, the property was generating me £872. If we times that by 12 months, I was making £10,470. Hello? Just from one house. The same house, I moved from 4,530 a year to £10,470 a year. That's more than double what I was getting. More than double what I'm getting. I hope this is making sense to you. So at this point, you may be thinking, okay, that's it. I'm making £10,471 property. Why bother? Right, here's the thing. If you want to really make your money work a lot harder for you, you want to look for the strategy that gets you better return on your investment, which is what I'm going to talk to you now. So I changed the module again from being a HMO property to becoming a serviced accommodation property. So what do I mean by serviced accommodation property? So instead of renting the property room by room, okay, I started to rent the whole property on a nightly basis to event goers, to tourists, to contractors. It is a mini boutique type hotel without having the staff in there. So the guests will book the property, check themselves in, stay there as long as they booked me for, and then they can then check out. I can send the cleaners again, do everything again to get the property ready for the next guest. That's what I've changed the property to, from HMO to serviced accommodation. So now I don't like to brag. I'm only sharing this with you to inspire you to take the leap of faith to make money work for you instead of working for it. I can see so many people out there doing jobs that they hate, and they're in jobs where they're undervalued, underappreciated, and going nowhere, and they're still stuck. I'm just sharing this for you to know, actually, there's an alternative out there. There's something that you could do that could really generate you better return on your investment, and at the same time make you financially free. Okay, so now let's look at that module. So I'm not sharing this again to brag. I'm gonna warn in advance. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna log into my one of my platforms that I get my bookings. I hope my staff give me access to it. So that platform will show me will show you and me how much I have been able to make by changing this module from a HMO to a serviced accommodation. Now, so this is the property here. So let's take it from the 1st of August to the 9th of September. That's about a year, right? Let's look at it as a year, because when you're doing serviced accommodation, you want to look at the figures in a yearly basis because it fluctuates, isn't it? So looking at this data now, this is real data. This is the browser. You can see the browser here. This is live, okay? And if we scroll down, it tells me how much I made in March, April, May, June, July, and so on until September. It tells you how many nights the property has been rented through this platform, not any other platforms, and it tells you the revenue I've made and an average daily rate. But what we want to look at is the annual rate, how much we've made from this property since I started doing it as a service recommendation. As you can see here, the room nights, the property has been rented from this platform, just this one platform, for 253 nights. So for those 253 nights, that property generates me £30,788 in revenue, just from one house and from just one platform. I haven't shared with you what I've got in Airbnb. I haven't shared with you what is the amount that we make from direct bookings. This is just from one platform, £30,788. Here's the thing: what can this sort of money do for you? Will that change your life? Will that start to make a difference? Will that start to make you think about maybe taking financial situation into your own hands? Ask yourself that question. So this one single property generates me £30,788. Let's now assume in that £30,788, let's say I've got maybe 10,000 to about maybe 10,000 from booking.com. Let's say we had another 5,000 from other platforms, okay? Because I haven't got access to those platforms. So we got here 30,788. Let's say 10,000 a year from Airbnb, and then let's say about 5,000 from other platforms. So that property now generates me a gross rental income of £45,788. Let's say our cost for running this property is 40%. Let's just be 40%, right? Let's say 40%, and this property has generated us already £45,788. So if our cost is 40%, what would have happened? 40% minus 100, it would give you 60% margin, right? Let's say this property generates me 60% profit margin, and this same property generates me now £27,472 net profit. Net profit. Hello. It's an amazing strategy. Now let's look at the timeline. You can see here, the first time I rented it, I was making 4,530. I was still making lots of money. Now, some investors are not making that sort of money with one house, right? I doubled it by doing a HMO strategy. So I was at £10,470. So when I realized the country has opened, everything is going amazing now, I converted it into service recommendation. So look at the service recommendation amount here. Service recommendation amount, if I move it very close here, you can see here, what happens here again. I was able to double, nearly triple the income for the same property, from £10,400 to £27,472. That's what you call, you make your money work a lot harder for you. I really hope this video has inspired you to take a leap of faith to start your property investment journey. So you may be thinking, I'm only talking about all the good things. It took me time to be able to know this. It took me time to learn how to do things like that. And it also took me time to renovate the property, because I did it over COVID. It took me about maybe 4 to 5 months to do the renovation itself, because some of them got ill and I had to source the materials. It was difficult for me, but I was able to get there at the end because I have a vision, and that vision, that's what allowed me to make 4,530 and then make 10,470 and then now making £24,472. So ask yourself, what's holding you back? What is that one thing that's stopping you from doing something like this? You can see this, it's not magic. It's all about implementing what you learn and make your money work a lot harder for you. I really hope this video has inspired you to take the leap of faith to start your investment journey. If you like this video or any of my videos, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos.